At the beginning of a Broadway show, the lights dim, the music plays, and the audience waits for the spotlight to hit the stage. When the main actor appears, the story begins. So it is with leadership. When you become a leader, the people wait for you to step into the spotlight on center stage. All eyes are fixed on you, waiting to see who you are, waiting to see what you will say and what you will do. After all, you are the leader. What if the spotlight appeared on that stage and you were not in it? What would happen then? The people would be confused. They would wonder where you were. They would think that you didn't understand your role until they realized that you are a different kind of leader. You're not seeking the spotlight. In fact, you've walked off the stage to find the light crew. You will shift the focus of the spotlight to the people you've been asked to lead. You will lead the people to daring destinations far beyond their imagination. You will focus intensely on serving them well along the journey. You will help them discover meaning in their work and principles in their actions. You will dare to serve. Around the dinner table, our family likes to discuss words. This habit comes from my husband of more than 30 years. He cares deeply about the proper use of words. Recently, one of these evening conversations contemplated the meaning of the term oxymoron. An oxymoron is considered a compressed paradox. In terms I can understand, that means two words used together that are seemingly contradictory, like silent alarm. So during this dinner, we share our favorite oxymorons: live recording, mandatory option, jumbo shrimp, paid volunteer, minor crisis. To keep my head in the game, I start thinking about business: assistant supervisor, friendly takeover, limited guarantee, working vacation. Then my mind wanders to leadership. Daring, serving, seemingly contradictory, perhaps an oxymoron. In last week's sessions, we talked about the serving aspect of leadership. This week, we talk about the daring part of leadership, the aspirational vision for the people to attain. As an example of what we mean by a daring destination, consider this. When we first began the turnaround efforts at Popeyes, the people were hardworking and caring people, to be sure, but they did not know why they were working so hard. When you asked the people where the organization would be in, say, 5 years, people responded with either, "I don't know," or "I wish I knew." Popeyes needed a daring destination for the people and the enterprise, a clear picture of the goals they were trying to reach and the key initiatives that would get them there. A Dare to Serve leader declares a daring destination for the people and the enterprise. You can't serve the people well if you don't have aspirations for the team to be wildly successful. The people can't serve the organization well either if they don't know where they are going. In the famous story of Alice in Wonderland, Alice has this conversation with the Cheshire Cat. "Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here?" He says, "That depends a good deal on where you want to get." "I don't much care," said Alice. "Then it doesn't matter which way you go," said the cat. The first day I met the Popeyes franchisees was at the annual conference held that year in Orlando, Florida, a gathering of the franchise owners and their management teams with the Popeyes leaders who support them. Looking back on that day, the most important message they needed to hear was, what daring destination could we aspire to reach together? The vision we shared that day was this: one day Popeyes will again be the hottest concept among U.S. quick service restaurants. We will have average unit volumes of 1.2 million. We will have quick drive-thrus that delight our guests. The franchise owners will be making 22% restaurant operating profit, and we will build 100 restaurants per year with good financial returns to the franchise owners. Over time, we will more than double the size of this chain. Nobody had any reason to believe we were actually going to reach those goals. Nonetheless, the franchise owners were temporarily calmed by the idea that we had bold goals and a vision of future success. A friend of mine says that when you lead a team, it's like taking your family on vacation. The family needs to know where you're going on this vacation. And until they know that, they won't know whether to bring their winter coat or their bathing suit. The Dare to Serve leader defines the destination so that the team can pack their suitcase. History gives us examples of leaders who led the people to a bold destination. One of my favorite leaders in history was William Wilberforce, a British politician who led the movement to abolish the slave trade in England at the beginning of the 19th century. Wilberforce was elected a member of Parliament at the young age of 21. He chose not to claim a political party so that he could objectively vote on measures according to their own merits. When he was 28 years old, his friend William Pitt challenged him to make a motion in Parliament to end the slave trade. But Wilberforce took ill, and it actually was his friend Pitt who prepared the motion and supporting documents. But when Wilberforce returned to health, he made a remarkable 4-hour speech in Parliament on the topic on May 12th in 1789. He described in detail the appalling conditions of the slaves traveling from Africa. He made the case for change. Nonetheless, the motion to end slavery went into a long, drawn-out set of hearings and the delays of election year politics. The outbreak of war with France in 1793 led to further delays, but Wilberforce's commitment to the daring destination was unwavering. On February 23rd in 1807, 20 years after it was first proposed, the bill to abolish slavery in England was passed. Wilberforce was then 48 years old. He had dedicated his life to ending this suffering. The people were served well by the courageous leadership of William Wilberforce. What about us? Why are we reluctant to pursue a daring destination for the benefit of those we lead? Is it fear of failure, absence of ideas, worries about resources, lack of courage? I'm not sure. But this I do know. A leader unwilling to take the people to a daring destination paralyzes the organization. If the team is not working on the big opportunities, they're left to make up work on the small problems that justify their existence. They sense that their daily activities do not yield any important or superior results, and they become discouraged by the futility of it all. A friend once told me, "Your followers are looking for weakness and praying for strength." What if we had the strength to lead the people bravely to a daring destination? In this week's session, we will consider these questions and more. Let's begin.